Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here back with Team Rise or Fall to talk some Sunday Night Football. The New York Football Giants head to Landover, Maryland, to take on the Washington Commanders at 8:20. Is when the kickoff is happening. As we look at this one right now, the over/under is sitting at about 40.5 points here. You can get the Giants plus 4.5, or you can get Washington minus 4.5. And boy, oh boy, do I have some sweet betting trends, and everything points to the under here. But I have a couple ideas, and I think we're just a point or two over the over here. So before we get into that, let's make sure you go to the website at Team Rise or Fall. It is Sunday, December 18th. I mean, Christmas we're on the fast track to Christmas. It is less than a week away, actually a week today, this next Sunday here. So what a perfect time, to give someone a gift, and you don't even have to see them. You can just, go to Team Rise or Fall, you use promo code Beastie, you get a couple premium memberships, and then you can send them to your family and friends, and then a couple weeks later go, yeah, I sent you that gift, glad you got it, and glad you're here at Team Rise or Fall. So if you're not that sappy, I want to send cards and glitter and chocolate and all these presents, you get a Team Rise or Fall membership using promo code Beastie, and your friends and family will get everything. You got the tabs, all the DFS tabs. We have a Fantasy Cruncher voucher that rolls over month to month, and you know what I'm going to say, you can crunch until your heart is content. So if you just want to give yourself something, we're always giving stuff away, but it's okay to treat yourself as well. So use the promo code Beastie at Team Rise or Fall, and you can go check in over at the Discord, which is free, but there's always little shows and things going on there leading up to lock for NBA, hockey, and expectively football here with the playoffs right around the corner. All right, let's talk about this football game, shall we? When we look at this one, as I said, the over-under right now is at 40.5 points. Washington is hosting the New York Giants, And when you look at this one, they just played, right? I'm getting my notes here. The paper is crinkling. They played in week 13, the Giants played Washington, and they played to a 20-20 tie in week 13. The Giants played last week, but Washington had a bye in week 14, so they're back at it, this time around here. When we look at the Giants, they're 7-5-1. They started hot, and people were like, holy smokes, this team was supposed to be awful. And it's not that they've turned back into a pumpkin. They're 7-5-1 here, but last week, they got absolutely hammered by the Philadelphia Eagles here. 48-22 was the final score in that one, and the Giants only gained about 304 yards, while they let the Philadelphia Eagles hang 437 total yards. So that's like, what are we going to do there? It's kind of strange. And when you look at the Washington Commanders here, nothing special there. They're 7-5-1. They were on bye week, and last time out, they gained 411 yards against Washington, but they only gave up 316 yards. Quarterback Tyler Heinecke, he was their leading passer, their only passer. So what are we going to do on Sunday Night Football? Let's talk about it. Let's start with Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, as some folks call him. He is 15 grand on FanDuel, 10-2 on DK, only $27 on Yahoo here. When we're looking at Daniel Jones, and mind you, Washington 21st overall against opposing quarterbacks. Daniel Jones is he the guy? We're going to give him one more year. New coaching staff, dabbles in here, and Daniel Jones has been okay, but more specifically here tonight, Sunday Night Football, what are we going to get out of this guy? 19-20 completions. I think Daniel Jones is good for around 200 yards. Long gone are those days, if those days ever existed, of Daniel Jones hanging 300 or 400 passing yards, because he likes to go take off and run, scamper, scurry, however you want to put it. So let's look at Daniel Jones. 7-8 carries, about 40 yards here, and I think he is responsible for at least one touchdown. That's the easy peasy prediction here, but Daniel Jones is on the radar here tonight, given the Washington Commanders. Their Commanders' defensive line is outstanding. So how many sacks are we going to see here? I can wait till the end when we get to the Commanders DST. On the flip side here, Taylor Heinecke, Washington at the Giants. Giants right now 15th overall against opposing quarterbacks here. Heinecke, 14.5 on FanDuel, $10,000 on DraftKings, and $21 on Yahoo. We're looking at Heinecke, 19 completions, 220 yards, 3 to 4 carries, another 20 yards. Truth be told, and I'm going to tell everybody like it is right now, if you care to hear, I do firmly believe we can get away in this game, fading both quarterbacks. And I know what you're saying. You're probably laughing and chuckling, because we talked talked about what a day yesterday it was with football, and it's not that fading quarterbacks on a single game slate. I don't know when it happened or why it happened, but I kind of like that move because most games there is so much other offensive talent, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends here, where I just want to pack all those offensive skill positions in my line, and I'm seeing that here today. You might go, well, everybody's betting on the under. It's the Giants in Washington, NFC East. There's nothing going on here, but to me, Daniel Jones and Heinecke they're just dudes. They're just there. Again, not putting them down. I'm recording a video and they're playing professional football here. But as we get through the video, Barkley, Gibson, Terry, Curtis, there's a lot of action here in other offensive skill positions here. So again, if you want to stack up Washington in a single game slate, you bring it home with Heinecke. If you want to stack up the New York Giants, you bring it home with Daniel Jones. That's up to you. But to me, that'll be the last move I make. I'm going to fill it in with running backs, wide receivers, maybe a couple tight ends, DSTs. And then if I have the room or the money left over, then I'll place Daniel Jones and Heinecke in my lineup as I see fit. So let's talk about the running backs. And first and foremost, let's talk about Saquon Barkley, Washington, 5th overall against opposing running backs. They are good. And as it stands right now, Barkley, I don't think I hate to say this out loud. I don't think he's hurt. He looks okay, but maybe he's hit a wall, right? Because he's had a full year off. He missed some time. And again, we're in middle of December, late December. We're in week 15 here. Maybe he's hit a wall. I foresee no long-term problems with Barkley, but going up against this just nasty, raucous Washington defensive line, I don't like it. And for $16.5 on FanDuel and on DK 12.2, $31 on Yahoo. I mean, again, however, we'd be a fool to just fade him completely, but I don't think he's the end-all be-all tonight, right? I look at single game slates and there's always at least one guy, more than likely two, that are must-haves on a single game slate. And more times than not, Barkley would be that surefire stud running back that I wouldn't enter a single game lineup without. But again, I think we can get away with fading Barkley here. Does he score a touchdown? Sure, but can we make up that touchdown elsewhere in a very cheapy tight end or a third, fourth string wide receiver here? I do, but again, I'm not saying a full fade of Barkley, but I could see it. If you wanted to, I will give you the okay. If you're like, I don't want to fade him, seasonal formats, no way. But tonight, that's okay. 17, 18 carries, 65, 70 yards, 3-4 receptions, another 30 yards. So 100 total all-purpose yards and a touchdown. All well and good. Terry McLaurin might get that. Curtis Samuel might get that, and they're a lot cheaper than Barkley. Matt Breida, Gary Brightwell, nothing going on here given the DVP, the defensive line, as I said. When we look at the Washington Commanders here, B-Rob Jr., Brian Robinson Jr., Antonio Gibson. I am playing both guys in unison in almost every line that I enter here. Let's start with Brian Robinson Jr., $13,000 on FanDuel, $8,000 on DK, $18 on Yahoo. When we look at Brian Robinson Jr., 17, 18 carries, 80 yards, a reception or two for around 10 or 12 yards, I think that's a safe bet. And when we look at Antonio Gibson here, $12,000 on FanDuel, 7-6 on DK, only $16 on Yahoo, 9 to 10 carries, 40 yards, 3 to 4 receptions for another 25 to 30 yards. So you're looking at a 90 to 100 all-purpose yards for Brian Robinson, on the good side. And Antonio Gibson, I'm looking at 65 to 70 total yards for Gibson as well. And let's just it's the holiday season. I think both guys score a touchdown here. So there it is. Two guys equals one in Saquon Barkley. I know what you're thinking here, but Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson are going to do damage tonight because the Giants are they slumping? Are they scrambling? What's going on with them? Their defense against running backs, 24th overall. So to me, Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson Jr. are my move tonight. And again, you know what I'm going to say. Hopefully you followed me long enough for that. I thank you. But MVP captain and then flex and then vice versa. And we flip the sucker on its head. When we look at the wide receivers here, again, there's nothing special here, DVP matchup that was like, wow, jumps off the page to me here. But I want to start with Darius Slayton, 11.5 on FanDuel, 7.4 on DK, $15 on Yahoo, 6-7 targets, 4 or 5 receptions, around 50 to 55 yards. Been a pleasant surprise, right? In a season where Kenny Golladay was supposed to be the man, a stud, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't use Kenny Golladay in your line. I wouldn't use Kenny Golladay in your cousin sister's best friend lineup tonight. He's just he doesn't have it anymore. I don't know what the heck happened here, but Kenny Galladay off the radar. And let's walk in Slayton. Let's walk in Isaiah Hodgins. Hodgins, 10 grand on FanDuel, 5-6 on DK, $11 on Yahoo, 5-6 targets, 3-4 receptions, 35 to 40 yards. Get this, Washington, 16th overall against opposing wide receivers. So they're not like really good, they're not really bad, but they're right in the middle here. So if you got, if Barkley can get going, we know this thing, the run opens up the pass or vice versa, however you want to put it here. So Barkley, Gary Brightwell, whatever, even Matt Breida, if they can find some room on a couple plays, I am almost certain that the New York Giants are going to take shots every once in a while. I mean, as it stands now, 7-5-1, what do they have to lose? They're chasing the Dallas Cowboys. They will not catch up to them for the division, but there's still wild card spots to be made available. The Giants aren't going to just lay down and die. Richie James, he's on my radar, eight grand on FanDuel, 5-2 on DK, $14 on Yahoo. Richie James, 5-6 targets, 3-4 receptions, 35 yards. Him and Isaiah, almost identical stat lines here. When we look at the Washington Commanders, now we're talking the only bummer, the Giants, they're 10th overall against opposing wide receivers, but they're going to come at you every which way. Scary Terry, Curtis Samuel, the rookie Dotson here. All three of those guys are really, really moving the needle for me here. And when we look at Terry, 14 grand on FanDuel, 9-8 on DK, $20 on Yahoo. Scary Terry McLaurin, however you want to put it, 8-9 targets, 5-6 receptions, around 80 yards. When we look at Curtis Samuel, he is interesting tonight. 5-6 targets, 3-4 receptions, 40 yards. And I think Curtis Samuel is going to get anywhere between 3 to 4 carries for another 20 to 25 yards. He's only 11 grand on FanDuel, 6-6 on DK, $15 on Yahoo. And then the rookie at the beginning of the season was a touchdown monger. That's all he did was catch touchdowns. He was out of the lineup, hurt. He's back in. Let's look at Dotson here. 9 grand on FanDuel, 5-4 on DK, $13 on Yahoo. And everybody's going to be flocking towards Terry and even Curtis Samuel to a degree. I think Johan Dotson scores a touchdown here. So if that's what you're into, let's lock in Dotson for an anytime touchdown, and we compare that with Gibson and even Brian Robinson Jr. So there's 3 Washington guys with a touchdown in one parlay and in one DFS line, and we are rolling. Nothing going on with Cam Sims, questionable. Dax Milne, the young kid, 23-year-old white dude, 6 grand on FanDuel, 400 on DK, the bare minimum, $10 on Yahoo. We'll see what Milne can get. He's like a salary relief guy, or if you want to go way off the beaten path, which I tend to do from time to time, actually more times than not. Dax Milne, kind of an interesting thing. When we look at the tight ends, I have, let me count this out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 wide receivers written down, and I'll share my notes with you. When it comes to tight ends, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 tight ends written down here. And what are we going to do? We're 13 minutes into the video. I'm going to spend another 10 minutes talking about tight ends. So we're going to do a lightning round here with the tight ends. Daniel Bellinger, Nick Vannett, Chris Mariak, or Lawrence Cager. There's the 4 New York Giants tight ends here. Where are we going? Get this. Washington 3rd overall against tight ends. I don't see a lot of room for the tight ends here, but again, one of these 4 guys is going to have some sneaky appeal. If it's a touchdown, if it's a 30, 40-yard reception, and they're going to set the tone for the New York Giants tight ends, and I don't know which way. They're all the most expensive guy, Bellinger, 6'5" on FanDuel. He's also the most expensive on DK, 6'2". They're all 4 of them are $10, the bare minimum on Yahoo, and the rest 6'5", 5,000, 5,000, 5'5". Here we go. And so to me, Daniel Bellinger, just process of elimination, looks to be getting the start. Got a questionable tag. It's cool. 4 or 5 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, around 30 yards. When we look at the Commanders tight ends here, Logan Thomas, John Bates, Cole Turner, I mean, it's got to be either Logan Thomas or John Bates. It's going to be one of those things where everybody, well, Logan Thomas, he's active, 7 grand on FanDuel, 5 grand on DK, and around $11 on Yahoo here. Everybody might, we might get a heavy ownership, heavier than most when it comes to tight ends on a single game with Logan Thomas. Let's backdoor this thing with John Bates. Couple targets, couple receptions, 10 or 15 yards. And if he scores that weird sneaky touchdown here, now we're talking. Do I have a tight end at all in this game scoring a touchdown? No. But do I have this weird apprehensive idea where one of them will, but I just don't have it in me to say, this is going to be, Cager, or it's going to be Bates. I just don't know. So to play on the safe side, we can mix and match the tight ends, and it's all good. When we look at the kickers, Graham Gano, Joey Sly, Giants and Washington, everybody on earth thinks it's going to be an under kind of game, meaning drives are going to stall out in the red zone inside the 30 or 40 here. So if you think that's going to be the kind of game it is, then we'll run some kickers here. Graham Gano, 8-5 on FanDuel, 4-2 on DK. Joey Sly, 8-5 on FanDuel, $4,000 on DK. I have Graham Gano, 2 for 2 field goals, 2 for 2 extra points, 1 for 2 field goals. And when we look at Joey Sly, 2 for 3 extra points, 1 for 2 field goals. So you can do that as you please there. I will say this, Graham Gano, Washington's very good against kickers, top 10. They're actually 8th. When you look at Joey Sly, the Giants, they're 24th overall in terms of giving up points to opposing kickers. When we look at the DSTs, you know what we're going to say here, Giants, Commanders. I mean, to me, it's the Washington Commanders. That defensive line might freak out Daniel Jones, and we've seen from time to time where Daniel Jones, not that he's going to freak out and panic here, but I could see a case here when the pocket collapses, he'll just lay down. So there might be an extra sack or two to go around for the Commanders, and for that fact, that's the side that I'm choosing here. Let me give you some recent betting trends, and we'll get the heck out of here. We're almost at 16 minutes here. What a day it was yesterday, and we're going to double down here Sunday with this game. The New York Giants, 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games on the road. The under has cashed in 33 of the Giants' last 52 games. That was that took me 20 minutes to kind of put all those numbers together there. Washington, 6-1-1 against the spread their last 8, and the under has cashed in 8 of the Commanders' last 21 games. So over, under, which way are we going to go? Everybody's flocking towards the under. I like the over here, but barely by a few points. I have the Washington Commanders to win this thing, 24-17 in favor of Tyler Heinecke, to the running back duo of Gibby and B-Rob, and even let's throw in a little Dotson touchdown action here. So give me the Washington Commanders to win this one, 24-17. Be good, be safe, and I will see you again the same time tomorrow as we talk Monday Night Football. Bye, be good, bye.